Hello, hey. I'm very impromptu picking up the camera and I guess kind of starting what will probably be a pretty quick little vlog situation, but I remember filming when I was feeling this way right before Cole was born. I'm pretty sure I can link it down below even. I'm pretty sure I have a video of me like crying right before. Ignore everything behind me. I literally like just decided to pick up the camera. Was not planning on doing this at all, but I have a picture or a video of me crying at the kitchen table or like the kitchen counter. Literally this exact like situation just 2 years ago, probably almost exactly to the day, and just crying because I feel like I don't want to actually cry but I feel like the transition when you're about to have another baby, whether it's your first, your second, or your fifth, whatever it is just like an emotional situation. Obviously you have all kinds of hormones and a lot going on. Let me turn on this other light here. I've been emotional over the last couple of days, just kind of on and off, just thinking about how today's Saturday and I'm having my C-section on Wednesday, and it's just, I'll be 39 weeks tomorrow actually, and it's just weird to think about how like everything, you know, just like life as we know it is just gonna be completely different and completely changing. And as literally over the moon, like I cannot stop thinking about her and thinking about meeting her and having this baby and introducing her to Cole and all these things. I'm like literally over the moon. Like I could just cry in excitement and happiness, but I feel like there's also just like that small part of you that just is like kind of sad about losing your current life, which it's not a loss and we're only gaining, of course, but it's just, this is our last weekend as a family of 3, like our last weekend of just being Cole's parents and like Cole getting all of our attention and just being, you know, just us 3 every weekend for the last 2 years has just been the 3 of us. And I was just putting him down for his nap and just started crying as I was holding him, just thinking about that. Like I still, people probably think this is so lame, I still sit in the back seat of the car with him like 99.5% of the time that we go anywhere, just because I like to be with him and be next to him and like just talk to him and interact with him and give him his toys or his snacks or whatever. I've been sitting in the backseat of the car with him for 2 years, like every time, unless I'm driving obviously. We're gonna have to install the other car seat, like, you know, in the next 2 days or whatever, and I'm not gonna be able to sit back there anymore. Like I'm not gonna, I mean technically there's a seat in the middle, but like I'm not gonna sit there. And it's just weird to think like, oh my gosh, I don't want to just sit here and cry. It's just weird that like probably tomorrow or the next day is like the last day that I'll sit in the back seat of the car with it. It's funny too because that video that I filmed last time around, where I just sat and cried like this on camera basically, was right after we got home from Cheesecake Factory. And we've decided that that's kind of like a tradition. Before we have a baby, we're gonna go to Cheesecake Factory. We literally just went to Cheesecake Factory. I'll put some pictures of the food or whatever on the screen here. I didn't bring my camera. We just went there as like our pre-baby tradition, obviously with Cole as well, but we just did that. And I feel like I'm literally repeating my life, going to Cheesecake Factory and then coming home and getting emotional and crying on the camera. But Cole is only gonna be this little for so long. Now I'm not gonna be able to sit in the backseat of the car with him. I'll never be able to sit in the backseat of the car with her. So I got to do that with Cole for 2 years. I won't get to do that with her at all, in terms of like just getting to kind of like sit in the back with her and just like spend that time with her and entertain her and stuff in the car. And if when I do ever sit in the backseat of the car with Cole again, he's gonna be bigger and older and front facing and not need me in the back of the car anyway. So it's just like those little things that are so dumb, and you know, they don't actually really matter that much, but it's just those little things that I've thought about or noticed that have just like struck me like, wow, like this is ending. This is like the hard stop to this. Like this is just a chapter, and Cole's growing up and we're growing our family, and it's all good things. But I'm just so like stupid emotional when it comes to like endings and like chapters closing, and I don't know. It's just how I like, even like leaving jobs, no matter how much I like or don't like the job, like I'm so emotional driving away from it. Same with college, like my last, like everything, I'm just way overly emotional about lasts and endings and chapters, and it's just I'm trying not to like sit in my emotions too much because I don't want to walk around these last like 3-4 days and be like, oh my gosh, this is the last this, and then I'm not trying to soak in the emotions because that's just unnecessary and ridiculous. And my overwhelming emotion is excitement and gratitude and anxiousness and eagerness and so many good things. And even like my like sadness is not even sad, it's just, I don't know, just this general emotion over the things that are going to be changing and the things that are just not going to be the same, and they're all going to be different and better ways. I mean, except for sleeping, everything that's gonna be different to be better. But it's just things are gonna probably be harder, you know. Things are just naturally harder going from like, you know, 1 kid to 2 parents to now 2 kids to 2 parents, and that whole ratio. Anyway, that's just what I've been experiencing. Like I said, my makeup is probably so, not that it was that great to begin with. Anyway, I just feel so thankful. Cole is just such the best kid ever, and I'm so thankful for this like literally miracle pregnancy, like getting pregnant naturally. We never expected it, and I've had such an incredible pregnancy and so smooth, and I felt so good. I'm 39 weeks tomorrow, and I'm still working out every day and taking walks every day and all of those things. So I'm so grateful for everything so far in this pregnancy, but the emotions are just hitting me. I also I guess I was gonna do like a little Lululemon haul. I mentioned the last time I got like a couple new things. I also placed a huge Francesca's order that I was gonna also want to do a little haul, but like we're getting to the point where filming and then being able to edit the video and get it like ready and scheduled to go up, like we're obviously kind of busy in the next couple days, also getting ready for my in-laws to come to watch Cole and go to the hospital and bring a baby home, that I'm also not trying to like super overload myself with like more videos to get done in between now and then. And then I obviously plan on like vlogging in the hospital and a little bit, you know, in the beginning, I imagine, but also I don't know what that's gonna look like or when that's gonna be up. So anyway, I'm obviously not trying to put any pressure on myself to get videos out or anything at this current stage, but I guess I'll stop crying now. I did want to give you all an update on Cole as well. I mentioned that in the last video too, kind of like a health update for him. But let me show you these couple things just to like break up me just sitting here talking. I'll show you, like give you something to look at for a second, and then I'll give you just like a quick update on Cole. So yeah, I think my big Francesca's order, I think it's gonna be here today at some point. Oh, did the lighting just change? Okay, yeah, I feel like the lighting got like red or like orange, but it should be good now. I did a big Francesca's order. I think it's gonna be here later today, but I don't know that I'll be able to actually like film with it or anything, but I'm super excited about that. This is just literally a couple things that I wanted to show that I'm super excited about. I've been wanting an orange beanie for literally ever. Well, it doesn't go with a ponytail obviously, but the American Eagle, I think they're called BFF, or no, bestie, best friend, bestie beanies, whatever. They're like my favorite beanies. I discovered them last season, like last winter and fall, and I bought like 4 or 5 because they're my new favorite. They are the softest beanies ever made, and I like just the way they fit. They're not like too like tall, but they're not too short. They do fold over, so you can kind of like adjust how big or short you want them to be. The material is just so insanely soft, but what I like most about them is they are just very comfortable. I have a pretty big head, as all my babies do now too. This girl has a big head, Cole's head is huge, and so a lot of hats just like really squeeze my head, or they just hurt, or they get uncomfortable just really quickly, and these don't do that. They're like tight enough where they stay on. I have some hats that like stretch out, or they're just too big and they don't stay on and they don't look good. These are like that perfect in between where they fit really nicely and they don't stretch out, but they also don't like squeeze my head, and I don't start getting a headache or feeling uncomfortable like within, you know, 30 minutes of putting it on. These are like my #1 favorite beanies. This is, like I said, probably my 5th or 6th color, and they brought them back this year, and I think they have all the same colors, and then this was a newer one, which is why I grabbed this one. But I also just like the orange. I feel like for October it's cute obviously, but also just I like the color. I feel like orange beanies are just a vibe. They have like the Carhartt orange ones, you know, I just think they're so cute. So highly recommend if you like beanies or you need new beanies, just stock up on the American Eagle Bestie beanies. They're my favorite. And then I placed an order literally for just 2 things from Abercrombie when they were doing some kind of sale. I really wanted to try the YPB line from Abercrombie. I've never tried anything from there. And I've seen a couple people wear these like Henley style, I don't know if there's like an official name, but like these kind of Henley style like sports bras. They do have like padding and stuff, so they're like an actual sports bra. They're not just like a tank top, but they do have like the buttons, like the functional buttons, which I was thinking for breastfeeding would obviously be super handy to be able to wear this to like work out or just with an outfit, but obviously have like the breastfeeding accessibility because the buttons go pretty far down. But it's also just kind of cute as like a little top, I feel like, with sweatpants and like a cardigan or a flannel or whatever. It's just like a really nice blue with just like a little bit of navy on it. And it's a really, really soft material. Not like super stretchy, but has like compression to it, so I feel like it'll be supportive. It's just kind of like a standard like legging, you know, sweat wicking type of material. But I feel like it'll be really comfy to wear. And honestly, like you could wear it to work out, but I feel like you could also just wear it as an outfit with just like some flare leggings, you know? This will just be like a tank top more or less. So anyway, I'm excited to I haven't obviously worn it or anything. I got a size medium, which is just like my normal size. And then obviously they had a lot of their spring and summer stuff on sale now that we're rolling into the fall and winter. And I saw this dress and I just thought the material, like the pattern, honestly kind of like reminds me of like a grandma like tablecloth sort of vibe, the kind of retro. And even the feeling of it. Oh, does it have pockets? I didn't even know that. I obviously haven't tried this on. This is not going to fit me with a 39-week pregnant baby bump, trust me. I didn't know it had pockets. That's exciting. And the material isn't like, it's like a linen. It honestly feels kind of like a tablecloth. So it's not like super soft, but it feels like high quality. It feels nice. And it's kind of like a high neck sort of situation, which I always feel like is so flattering. I feel like this could be like a wedding dress, you know, wedding guest dress. I feel like you could style this a lot of ways, kind of casually or a little nicer. I feel like it's sort of almost skater style. I feel like it kind of has like an A-line sort of slightly flared out sort of profile, and then it has a little like keyhole in the back. I got a small and then I got a size small tall because it is like a mini dress, so I didn't want it to be too short on me, and I am quite tall, and I'm so glad I did. Just like holding it up to myself, I can tell that I probably wouldn't have wanted it any shorter than this, so I'm glad that I got a tall. I will obviously like link all this stuff for you guys if it's available, of course. I feel like that goes without saying. I'm not sure if they'll have this available anymore since it's like a, you know, summer spring item and it was on sale, but I think it's so pretty. Like, then last but not least, I got a couple things from Lululemon. Ken wanted to like treat me to a couple things, so the main thing I really wanted to get, this is I have a lot of the Lululemon scubas. Actually, let me put this on, the scuba sweatshirts, hoodies, whatever. And I have like one of the tighter zip up ones. I have a pullover with a hood and then a pullover with just like the regular neck. This was one of the few, I think there's only one other scuba like style that I don't have, and well, maybe 2. There's a cropped scuba, I don't have any of those, and then they have like an oversized like funnel neck, but this is the oversized scuba hoodie, so it's not like the other zip up I have where it's quite fitted. This is kind of like the more kind of like looser, just kind of comfy version. And I was obviously thinking, being postpartum and obviously my size will be fluctuating, and I'll just honestly want to have like things that are comfy and cozy. I decided to grab this also just because I don't have this style, but I love this pink color. It made me think of baby girl, kind of how like he's kind of getting this for me as like sort of like a baby girl present sort of thing, so I thought it'd be cute to get kind of a girly little pink color. I love these. It's, as you can tell, just a little bit kind of like baggier and looser. Still kind of has like the collar, but then also has the hood as well, which is nice. They're always like really big hoods. They have the logo like right on the middle of the hood there, and it's not like cropped or anything, but it's also not like long either. I don't know, maybe it's like a tiny bit cropped. Here's my belly button that's obviously out of place right now, but so it's not long, but it's not like cropped. I guess it's just kind of a normal length. I love these sweatshirts. They're so cozy, they're so comfy, and the material is just so nice. They're so high quality, and I love this color. And then I decided to try a couple of the scuba sweatpants since I'm like very much into the scuba life. So I got these 2 different colors. I thought this color was so freaking fun. This literally glows in the dark. I'm kind of obsessed. I have so many just like gray and black and like, you know, boring normal sweatpants. So as soon as I saw this color, I just thought this was so fun, like even like with just, you know, something like this. Like I feel like these like two colors would go so cute together, and they just kind of stand out and they're just different. I love that. They also have like the little logo, kind of like a monochromatic logo, like behind the knee, kind of like where they have it on some of the leggings and stuff like that. I just thought this color, it's literally called like neon wash because it's so bright. So I'm just excited. I feel like that's just like a different fun color. And then honestly, they feel like this feels like a slightly different material, probably because of the dye. Like this is just a little bit softer feeling, but this is the same exact thing as those yellow ones, but this is just a pink. It looks similar to the color I'm wearing, but they're different. This is more of like a plummy, like purpley pink, and this is more kind of like a maybe fuchsia kind of pink. But these are really nice. They have like a drawstring, but you can also flip them over, and then they just have like kind of an open, like it looks like you pull the drawstrings out or something. So you can style them a couple different ways. They're just really comfy. They don't fit me particularly well right now, but I know they're gonna fit me really well postpartum for sure. And they are pretty good length as well. I'm pretty tall, and they do at least fit me in the length as well. So yeah, Ken wanted me to get like, basically he was just being cute, and he's like, just get like some cute things that you can kind of be excited about to have and to wear like postpartum. Obviously like freshly postpartum when you got a lot of bodily fluids going on, I'm not gonna wanna, you know, put my Lululemon on, but he just wanted me to have some stuff to kind of just be loungy, of course, because that's, I feel like, just life after you have a baby, but things that I could just be kind of excited to wear that are new and fun and exciting in like the postpartum life. So that's what I decided to pick up. So I'm super excited about those couple super random purchases. I figured I would mention them, and then I will link them like I said. But in terms of an update on Cole, I try to keep this pretty brief, but essentially he needs, or he gets monitoring of his liver. So like an ultrasound of his liver, he'll get that every 6 months, and then he'll get a echo for his heart every year. So basically every like other liver appointment will also be like a cardiologist appointment, just to like make sure things are improving, how they're changing, nothing's getting worse obviously, and all of that kind of stuff. And then he also gets a really in-depth blood work panel done. And obviously I won't go into everything, but it was pretty much all really good news. The biggest good news being that his liver got smaller, which is so exciting if y'all don't know. And if you're behind on any of this, I have a lot of vlogs talking about it. I have a whole vlog basically updating when we went to the emergency room. We found out about his GSD, glycogen storage disease, and all of that, and I've talked about it over a lot of vlogs. But his liver is like the reason his belly is like so big, why he looks like he's just like chubby, but his liver is just enlarged, and his liver got small, which we didn't ever even really expect or think his liver would get smaller. We just thought more or less it would stop getting bigger, and he would just kind of grow into it, so his belly won't always look quite so big. It just will stop expanding, and it'll eventually just kind of situate itself a little bit more normally in his abdomen. But his liver got smaller by like over 1.5 centimeters, which is significant, and that, I mean, that's a big deal. It just obviously means his liver is a little bit less pissed off, and it definitely means we're doing the right things. So that's super exciting. It's not getting bigger, just would have been nice, but the fact that it got smaller is huge. And all of his blood work improved, and is, except for one thing, which the one thing that didn't improve got kind of a lot worse, but everything else improved significantly, and it's all like very stable. The one marker that didn't improve, like I said, it did get like quite worse, but it's not like an emergency kind of situation. It's just more about continuing, and it's normal for that specific metric, whatever you want to call it, for that one to take longer to kind of adjust to all the dietary changes and all the things we're doing than the other things are. So it kind of makes sense that the other levels are kind of up to date with like the improvements, and this one is just kind of like lagging. So the doctor was not like overly concerned about it or anything else. She said his numbers in that department are, his numbers in a lot of these departments will probably never be particularly normal. It's just about trying to bring them down and get them as close to normal as we can. But it's definitely higher than we're comfortable with. So it's all just kind of about like kind of tackling one thing at a time when it comes to Cole. I mean, he's only even been diagnosed for 6 months, so it's not even like we've been at this for ages. It's all still very new. It's just kind of about working our way through like one like milestone or one kind of victory at a time. So obviously the main thing was just to get his blood sugar under control, which we've done a lot of trial and error, and that's actually something that we've changed ever since this recent appointment. His blood sugar has been under control, and we are doing really good with it, but what we have realized is that he's definitely using ketones more than you would want someone with GSD to do, and that's partially why his blood sugar has been better. It's part of what's helping his blood sugar stay good. So we've been doing the right things for sure, but it pretty much turns out that like his overnight fast, which is just where most kids with GSD have the hardest time, of course, because that's when you're going to get hypoglycemic, when you are fasted for long periods of time. And as y'all know, he takes his cornstarch milk and all of that, and that's what helps get him through these fasting periods. But we haven't been able to measure his ketones with the urine strips. It's just really hard through a diaper to like get the urine back out and then saturate it. It's just, it hasn't been working, so we weren't really doing it. And then we realized that we should be doing it, so we finally got a blood ketone meter, just like you would do blood glucose, which we do poke his finger and take his blood every morning. And now we also poke his finger to take his ketones every morning. So we basically have 2 different meters with 2 different test strips that test 2 different things in his blood every morning, and he was using way more ketones than is good and safe for someone with his condition. And ketones are what your body uses when you don't have accessible like glucose. It taps into like your muscles and your fat, which for most people is not a problem, but for kids and people with GSD, you don't want your body to be using that functionality. So essentially that's what we've learned. We've now been tracking blood glucose and ketones. So the blood glucose, just kind of making sure he's not hypoglycemic, and we kind of have a good understanding of how his blood sugar is managed throughout the day and night. That was kind of like the first checkbox, and we've kind of done that in the last, 6 months since he was diagnosed. And now that we have a lot more data on how his body is handling his fasting periods, we can now basically move on to like the next little like area of improvement, which is managing his ketone levels. So we pushed back his cornstarch milk. We wake him up earlier in the morning, and we basically just truncated his fasting window by a good bit. And then we've also changed the makeup of his cornstarch milk. He's having less cornstarch and more medical grade protein powder in that drink, because the cornstarch really helps get you through fasting periods, but also your body will tap into accessible protein as well before it goes into ketosis. So, or even just using ketones in general. He's getting less cornstarch, which is great, and more protein, which is also really good. And then waking up earlier, and he's having cornstarch in the morning now, just a little bit, which he never did before. But honestly, that's great because he doesn't eat breakfast. He literally hates eating food in the morning. I don't know what it is. And it was getting very stressful because obviously he's coming off of a fast, and like he needs to eat something to like get his blood sugar to keep going and to be safe for, the rest of the morning until snack and lunch and all that. So now that he's having cornstarch in the morning, which administering cornstarch to him, he's pretty good with it. He doesn't mind drinking it, but sometimes it's just a little bit of a battle to get him to like drink it in the time, because you have to drink it in a certain time frame and the certain amount. He needs to drink the whole thing. And so with an almost 2-year-old, as you can imagine, sometimes that can be a little bit stressful and a little bit of a fight, but for the most part he's really good about it. So that's taking a lot of stress off of us, knowing that he's getting some cornstarch in the morning, and it's like gonna help manage his blood sugar until he finally will eat something, whatever and whenever that actually is, because homeboy hates to eat. So our doctors are just great because they're very much focused on taking the stress out of the situation. And obviously being a parent of a toddler is already kind of stressful, getting them to eat, period, but then being the parent of a toddler that like has to eat, and like their health and their blood sugar depend on it, just obviously ratchets up the stress level even more. I just appreciate that they're like very attuned to like, yeah, we need to make sure Cole's doing okay, but also like we don't want anyone to kill themselves over the process of making sure he's okay. So they're very good, in my opinion, at just kind of like balancing the medical necessity with just real life and knowing how it is. Our routine has changed when it comes to like bedtime and morning time, and honestly it kind of sucks, the changes in terms of having to stay up later and then wake up earlier and all those different things, but it seems to be having really good results. We're getting a lot better blood sugar and ketone levels in the morning. It's not perfect all the time, and I don't think it ever really will be. It's impossible for even like a healthy person to consistently have the exact same perfect levels of everything all the time, but it's just about trending in the right direction and like the majority of what you're doing to be positive. So all of that stuff is exciting. We've definitely changed some of his dietary stuff in terms of like the protein powder. He takes like a medical grade protein. We've cut out most sugar from his diet, which I feel like for most people and babies in general is definitely never a negative thing. We have made some changes in that department. What's really exciting is we're going to be putting on his continuous glucose monitor. He got a Dexcom. We're going to be putting that on him today, actually. I feel like it's going to be a little stressful trying to get that like implanted. That will be such a lifesaver, I feel like, for us. We're still kind of having to jump through hoops with the insurance because since he doesn't have diabetes, obviously he's not like a normal candidate for a continuous glucose monitor, but like he 100% needs it, and so many kids with GSD and even adults, I'm sure, are on a continuous glucose monitor. And I think that's just going to take so much stress off of our chest and like it just make our life go so much smoother knowing what his blood sugar is at pretty much all the time. Because we really only poke him when it's like necessary, like when we're really curious or in the mornings. So being able to basically eliminate poking him, at least for blood sugar, we're still going to have to check his ketones, but knowing what his blood sugar is at like 24/7, it's gonna take so much stress out of wondering, out of having to poke him, out of like forcing him to eat. Like if his blood sugar is fine, then we don't need to stress about he hasn't eaten in like 3 hours, like oh my gosh, and fighting with him to eat and all those kinds of things. I think it's just gonna be such a lifesaver. It literally just has an app on your phone and you can literally see at all times, middle of the night, like when he's napping, anytime, what his blood sugar is at. You can set alarms for when it gets low, when it's approaching getting low, so that you can like do something, you know. And I think it'll give you an alarm like 20 minutes before, like if it's kind of trending to drop down. You can obviously feed them or give them whatever they need to kind of stop that from happening, so you can get ahead of things and be proactive. I think it's going to be such a lifesaver, especially going to the hospital to have this baby in a couple of days. My in-laws are going to be watching him, and I know they're a little bit stressed out to have to like worry about managing his eating and his blood sugar. So I think for us, having that information on our phones, and maybe we'll even give them the app or whatever, but just being able to manage it from a distance and know what's going on with him from afar, like not being with him, but still being able to know that he's doing okay, or alert my mother-in-law that he's not, or whatever it is, I think is just gonna take a lot of stress off of us being away from him, of them being with him. And I'm just glad, I mean, I'm just so glad he's obviously like not diabetic or anything like that, because obviously with diabetes you can have like emergency situations, you know, things can go very wrong if things are not managed well. And thankfully with Cole, there's really no emergency situation that can happen. Obviously we want to keep him from, you know, getting hypoglycemic, but even if he does, he'll tap into his ketones, he'll ask for milk, like he can communicate, and there's no like emergency situation that can't be handled. Yeah, I think the glucose monitor is gonna be such a game changer. So that's kind of like the next big thing for him to get. But it's just, especially with a toddler and he's growing so much and he's always eats different amounts and at different times, and the temperaments are always different. So I feel like it'll just kind of always feel like we're constantly adjusting, constantly changing, constantly monitoring. And pretty much the ultimate goal is to keep his blood sugar in a place where it's never like spiking so high that his body starts storing a bunch of extra, because we don't want him to store extra glucose since he really can't use much of what he stores, and we don't want to just like fill up his storage and then not be able to get it back out. But you also don't want to get them too low where their body is trying to get storage out, which it can't, so you don't really want it to try. And then you also don't want it to tap into the ketones and have that affect his muscles and all of that. So it's kind of trying to like live in this middle ground where it never gets too high and it never gets too low. And obviously that's like a puzzle, and that's very difficult to do, and your body's not like a machine, so it doesn't run perfectly and efficiently and always the same. It doesn't work that way. So it's just kind of always a puzzle, and you're always kind of like chasing this number that's not necessarily realistic to do perfectly. We're trying to accept that and like acknowledge that we can just do the best we can, and there's no real way to fully optimize the situation. But we're definitely like making steps. I feel like we're really becoming experts in this department and knowing how blood sugar works and ketones works and how his liver works. And I feel like when you're parents of, or when you have a child or a friend or even a parent, you know, anything like that, someone in your family that has like a, especially like such a rare condition, but just a health condition in general, it feels good to just feel like you're as knowledgeable as you can be, so that you can, you know, make suggestions or adjustments or just kind of like spitball ideas of what to do, because it's a lot of just like plug and play and throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and there's no like one size fits all kind of solution for this. I wish there was just like a medication and then it just like takes care of it. We're just working on that, and it's been stressful, but also I think we feel good about it. We're also just super praying that baby girl does not have this condition. We'll know obviously within a couple weeks of her being born. They're going to take her blood, her cord blood, and test that. We're just praying that she doesn't have it, and we don't have to worry about that with her. She doesn't have to live with that condition and all of that. So if y'all are seeing this, any prayers for her that she can avoid this. I mean, she only has a 25% chance of getting it, but so did Cole and he got it. So, and there are many families where multiple kids have it because, you know, Ken and I both carry the genes, so it certainly is possible, but we're just praying that the 75% chance of her not having it prevails. Anyway, I think that is pretty much the general update of kind of like what's going on and just kind of a life update. It's also kind of a little bit stressful because of course he turns 2 right when this baby's gonna be born, so a lot of these like tests and changes we're implementing are happening right as we're having a baby. Oh, and also in the next 6 months when he gets his next round of liver ultrasound, like I said, he'll also get his an echo of his heart. He's also gonna basically go to like this really kind of intensive, like all day, I don't know, kind of like assessment clinic where he'll see the cardiologist, he'll see a neuromuscular specialist, and then an occupational therapist and a physical therapist, and basically I think just get, obviously the cardiologist will do the echo of course, but then I think he's just going to get assessed in terms of how his muscles are doing, because GSD can affect your muscles, and then get assessed by the physical and occupational therapist to see if his condition is like affecting kind of like how he's developing physically, which he's always been fine physically, but like a little bit slow just naturally because he was so big. It like took him a long time to be able to like walk and climb and things like that. So that's more just like an assessment situation, and then I guess they decide if they feel like he needs any kind of physical therapy or occupational therapy. I'm not exactly sure like what to expect of it or what will come of it. I kind of doubt that he needs much therapy. I mean, he's definitely not as like nimble as a lot of 2-year-olds, but that's because he's 40 pounds and he's got like this big liver and his center of gravity is a little off. So I think proportionate to like his size and kind of just like where he started, I think he's totally normal, but obviously we'll see what the professionals say. So that's also another thing that will be coming up in the next 6 months. That will be kind of a big deal. So like I said, there's always like a next thing to worry about or to do or to check or work on or whatever. So that's kind of like where we're at right now. But other than that, we're having a baby in 4 days. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. I need to definitely like get some groceries ordered. I have just some like general cleaning. I have a whole list, I'm sure everyone does in these days leading up. I do kind of like that we have it scheduled and we know when she's coming, so we can like kind of have things spread out over the next 4 days rather than rushing to do them now or like waiting until the last minute. I'm kind of spreading everything out. That's what's going on, and I think that's gonna pretty much just like be this video. I literally just wanted to sit here and kind of I guess like emotion dump, kind of do like a little mini haul and then give you the Cole health update, because those are the things I've kind of mentioned previously, and now it's just a tradition that I come on here after I go to Cheesecake Factory each pregnancy and cry. So we're just we got to keep the tradition going. So that's also what I was doing. So anyway, I guess it'll definitely probably be the last video I film and the last video I edit before I'm a mom of 2 under 2, before I have a daughter, before I have another baby, before we're a family of 4. Which is just crazy. But I'm definitely ready to like take some time off, take a little break. If y'all want to stay up to date, I always have my Instagram linked down below, obviously on stories. I'm very, very active on stories. That's obviously has like real-time updates as opposed to here. So if y'all want to follow me on Instagram, definitely feel free. You can definitely see baby pictures and the name announcement. Just keep up to date with everything going on in that department. But I guess that's it for now. And next time I see y'all, I will be postpartum. I will not have, I guess we'll just do like one more little belly shot. Should we do that? This is my, like I said, 39 weeks tomorrow. So like literally my maternity clothes don't even fit anymore. Do you see I pull this tank all the way down? And it still doesn't even cover everything. But here's the belly at, sorry if you don't like pregnant bellies. This is just what we're working with. But this is the 39-week bump. I guess probably the last bump date that y'all will be getting. But thank you so much for keeping up with this pregnancy with me, all the pregnancy vlogs. I have all of it in a playlist, so if you wanted to watch any of the pregnancy stuff previously, you can definitely feel free. There's a lot of pregnancy content on the channel if you are interested. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you would like to subscribe, we would love to have you. We have so much fun here, and I probably won't see you on this channel for a little bit. Maybe I'll upload like some reels and stuff, or shorts with like some of the just like footage and stuff from the early days, but I don't know when I'm gonna sit down and film and edit again. So I will definitely see you guys. Stick around for sure. I'm not like going anywhere permanently, of course, but we are very excited to just kind of take it easy, especially with it being fall. I love having babies in October. I don't know if y'all know, but their birthdays are gonna be like 5 days apart. It's just the best. Hallmark movies start like 2 days after she's born, and it's Gilmore Girls season, and it's just rainy, cozy, chilly. It's the best time to have a baby. I'm just so excited to just be a homebody and cuddle up with my new baby, my toddler. Life is good. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon.